What about some of the resources or books or conferences, things that you may recommend? Just the things that may have helped you throughout your career, or things that you pay attention to now.
Well, I have not been able to go to a lot of conferences, especially, serving in a church on a full-time basis. A lot of times you just don't have that flexibility
Right.
to be on, through a 4 or 5 days at a time. But I plug into I'm telling you, the internet is one of my biggest resources.
Yeah, yeah.
And just kind of Googling about different things that you're interested in. I also try to network with people that have been doing what I do, longer than I have and are successful. And it may not be everyday conversation. It may be once every 6 months or once a year or
Right.
whatever. But I really try to have those relationships in my life.
Okay.
A lot of reading. I go back and do a lot of read a lot of the books that I did when I first started, like The Power of Praise and Justin Cornwall. You have just a wide variety of different authors. But I think it's important to always go back to, the basics. When you do what we do, because sometimes you can kind of get stale because you get very familiar with it. Because if you're already gifted to sing, it's so easy sometimes to just lean on our natural gifting.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest about that. And it's easy to do that, but I think God's best is that that we just stay in a place where we're teachable.
Right.
I'm going to always be a student, no matter how long I've been leading worship. I always want to learn. I do go to some workshops in the city. I do recommend like Unrestrained Worship by Elder Lumpkin. It's phenomenal. Where he does worship conference every November.
Okay.
And last year we had it at Changing a Generation, and Bishop is on board with it and everything. And it's just awesome because you have different cultures that come together. Last year he had Trent Corley there, and
Okay.
Wes Morgan, and Pastor William Murphy, Tasha Cobb. We were all on stage together, worshiping together, and
Wow.
it was really great. It was really great. And on Saturday he has classes, so I highly recommend that. And I think when something great like that exists, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right. Definitely.
Just kind of join in with what's already working.
Definitely. So we'll definitely we'll put that information on the screen for our viewers so they can grab a hold of that if they have a chance to.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's great.
Okay. Well, how about what would you say one thing every worship leader should know?
I would say, well, there are several, but I would say if I had to pick one, I would say that worship leaders should always be reminded that our primary duty is our one-on-one relationship with the Lord. It may seem simple,
Right.
or it may seem kind of shallow, but it is so important because sometimes we can get so busy doing the Lord's work that we forget the Lord of the work.
That's right.
Between rehearsals and planning and all that kind of stuff, it's almost like the Mary and Martha situation.
Yes.
Where God was like, okay, Jesus was like, Martha, you're doing a good thing, but Mary has chosen the better part,
Right.
So I think sometimes we can kind of get so busy with scheduling and even counseling people and arranging this and arranging that, getting music out, and those things are needful in order for ministry to be done in excellence. But sometimes at the end of the day, you kind of have to look back and say, okay, when's the last time I spent quality time with the Father?
Right.
Because one of the things that I've realized is, even though we're gifted, I believe that God wants us to just minister from a place of overflow. And sometimes when you don't get that time with Him, you're running on empty, and you don't really know, that you're losing, you're losing a little bit more of what you should be pouring out of, so it becomes a struggle, the things that should be easy, because the anointing makes things easy.
Right.
When it's a struggle all the time, you kind of have to go back and say, okay, I really want to be able to pour out of a cup that's full and not necessarily in a deficit, because if it's in a deficit, I need to sit down and be ministered to,
Right.
to be honest. What do I have to give,
Yes, exactly.
So I would say that, and if I could just add one more thing.
Sure.
that this is one of the key things I encourage worship leaders with, because a lot of times we wear our feelings on our shoulders because sometimes we take it personal if we don't feel that everyone's engaged in worship the way we think they should be.
Right.
And sometimes, you kind of walk away from the podium feeling like, oh, they didn't like me, or I didn't do a good job. That whole self-inflicted thing. And one of the things that I have learned just from living my own life, I tell worship leaders, be mindful that when you're in a worship service, there are people whose lives are representative of every different season. Like if you look at summer, fall, winter, spring, their life, wherever their life journey is, could be representative of that. You could have a lady who just found out she was pregnant, worshiping 3 people down from somebody that just had a miscarriage. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Someone that just got a house could be on the left side. Somebody that just lost a house could be on the right.
That's right.
And so their expression of worship is probably going to be a little different. I remember when I lost my mom for months, my worship was just tears. I couldn't dance. I couldn't run. I just didn't have a lot of jubilee. But God received my worship in that season as it was. Right. And so it's really caused me to be sensitive to, where people are. You don't always know because you can't talk to each and every person, but you can be sensitive by the Spirit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not take it personal.
Right. That's really good advice.
Yeah.
One thing every audiovisual tech should know. That
you are valuable.
Okay.
To the service. You are valuable, first of all, in the kingdom. You are valuable to the plan of God. And I'm very sensitive to this because my husband is audio video tech. Right. And so I know that a lot of times it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
Even on our best days, a lot of times a lot of times you all get taken for granted because we just assume when we pick up the mic it's going to be on.
Right.
And it won't be feedback.
Yeah.
Or whatever, So I want to send a shout out to all the AV operators. We love you. We appreciate you. I tell worship leaders they have the power. You better treat them right.
Right.
And I would also like to say, and this could be maybe a challenge to audio engineers, video engineers.
Yeah.
I encourage you to get training.
Okay.
Everyone can't stop their life and go to an actual school or take classes or whatever.
Right.
But get under someone who can mentor you.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with, where people start. I grew up in a church where it was kind of like, the deacon had the key to the sound system, but he wasn't really trained. So, and thank God for his service in the house of God, but we weren't really able to minister, as effectively as maybe if we had someone who was trained. So I encourage audio engineers, don't ever settle because technology is always changing.
Yes.
I mean, every moment of the day is changing.
Yes.
And we want to be relevant.
That's right.
So I encourage you to. And also, and this is for audio, video, and worship leaders, try your best to have a good relationship. The enemy would love, if he can shut down the audio, video, and the worship, I mean, a lot of his plan has been accomplished as far as the corporate assembly. Because if we don't have the mics on, then the message can't be heard.
That's right.
Whether it's song or word.
That's right.
So that's why I say to what you guys do, you all are so valuable. We really can't do it without you. We really can't.
Right.
And, that you just keep open lines of communication because whenever you're dealing with things that are creative, emotions are high because, creative people, I'll say we.
Right.
We kind of have emotions and all this kind of stuff, but I don't think that there's anything that is beyond, working it out if we just kind of come together. And I think when everybody can just understand, listen, our goal is the same.
Yes.
We all want to represent God in an excellent way because he deserves that. And, until we reach where we're going, we're going to master where we are and continue to press forward. But I really believe that, it's very important to be under somebody. Bring people in that may be more gifted than you or, that may be able to do some training here and there if there's a budget for that, in the audio ministry department as well. So I've seen that done as well.
Wow. Well, hey, this has been a great time with you. We appreciate you sharing your time with us and your opinions and thoughts. And
Thank you.
our prayers and things are with you as you move forward in your daily and weekly routines of ministry. And big shout out to Reggie Simpson and his company. And
Shout out.
just give out his information for us so we know where he is. How can we contact Reggie and his company?
Okay, Reggie, his name is Reggie Simpson, and the name of his company is Performance Audio Visual Engineering, and it's actually called Pay Inc. So you can find him online.
Okay.
And he does a little bit of everything. He can meet your needs, and he can train and help with building sound systems as well. So reach out to him, and I would like to also say you can reach me on Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook /Sha SHA Simpson, and you can also follow me on Twitter, and my name is the same, SHA Simpson. And if you have any booking needs, you can reach out to me there, and we will make sure you're taken care of.
Okay.
Gratitude.
Great. Anything else you'd like to say before we go?
That's it. I just commend you once again, because I think this is so needed, what you're doing, and there are a lot of places that aren't able to stop what they're doing and come to where you serve,
Right.
Spend time with you and stuff. And I thank you for using technology,
Yes.
In a way that can really reach the masses. That's God's glory being displayed in the earth,
Right.
Because there are people that may live, in Connecticut,
That's
and they can apply this information. I applaud you for this. I really do. And I speak the blessings and the favor of the Lord over what you're doing, and may he bring increase and bring you before great men.